Okay, first of all, let me attempt to explain what's going on with my hair here. Explain the elephant in the room that is the hair on my head. Part of the whole curly girl method and letting your hair go natural is really experimenting and trying to figure out what will work for you. So today I tried something different. We've got the volume, that's for sure. That's why we've got this gigantor 90s perm, just 80s, it's not even 80s perm, it's just, I don't know what's going on. So we're just gonna roll with it because I am not ashamed. This is who I am. Anyways, welcome to another episode of The Good, the Bad, and the Boring. This is a show where we basically window shop all of the new things coming out in the beauty world. Basically, it's the stuff that I decided was interesting or not interesting or worth talking about, or the things that you specifically asked me to talk about on Instagram or on Twitter or here or anywhere else that you can talk to me. So let's get into it. The first thing that we have to talk about is something I was already planning to talk about, and then a whole bunch of you wanted me to talk about it on Instagram when I asked. That is this trend going on right now with blue-themed eyeshadow palettes. If you've been paying attention to makeup palettes for the past, I don't know, I feel like all last year this was a big trend of having all neutral palettes, all browns and shimmery golds and more neutrally colors, and then this pop of blue, just one blue color. It is something that's been going on for a while, and it started to get old fast, where it was just sort of a predictable move. I'm talking to you, Too-Faced. You have a new palette coming out that is following this exact same formula. It's a whole bunch of nudes and then one blue. A neutral palette with a pop of blue? Groundbreaking. What we're seeing now, though, are companies coming out with these palettes that are pretty much entirely blue themed, which is something that has not really been done before. Blue is usually seen as that pop of color. You don't see a lot of brands, especially focusing in on blue for an entire palette. And the reason why is pretty obvious. Blue is an intimidating ass shade for your eyes. It is bright, it is bold, it is a color that many people are not going to put all over their face. Understandably, brands are not going to want to invest their money into something that is not going to sell. That's always the bottom line. But right now, weirdly enough, we're just seeing like a blue renaissance. I don't think I'm using that right. Really, a lot of blue palettes at the same time. First and foremost, of course, we have the Jeffree Star Blue Blood palette. This one is really interesting to me because if any company was going to come out with an entirely blue themed palette, I guess I'm not surprised that it's Jeffree Star. Of all the palettes we're talking about today, I will say that I think that this is the most balanced in the sense that it has a lot of options as far as different kind of blues, blue greens, but it also covers you on the ends of the spectrum where you're gonna, most of the time, I'll say that, most of the time you're not just gonna put straight up blue eyeshadow. You're not going to put just straight blue. You will blend it out. So it has those neutrals and blendable colors and dark colors and all that jazz. The packaging, I don't quite understand. It looks like a music box almost, in the sense that it looks like it's made of wood and that it has a latch, which just seems ultra bulky to me. But this whole collection also has a bunch of lip colors and blue highlighters. I don't get the blue highlighters because they're very blue. They're like super dark for a highlighter. I don't really know what I would use those for, and I mean, this is coming from someone who rarely uses a champagne or a white highlighter, and right now I have a green and a blue one on. I don't know what I would use those for. But Jeffree Star was the one that first launched, I will say that, launched the blue palette thing. Then next we got Tarte coming out with the Icy Betch palette, which this is something that last year they posted on their Instagram stories on April Fool's Day announcing a new palette that was called Icy Betch, and it was all of these blue colors. They basically went on, it's a joke, April Fool's, and the internet was pissed. Everyone wanted this palette to exist. Everybody wanted a blue palette, something that is totally out of the norm, especially for Tarte. Tarte is a brand that pretty much, they live in that neutrals with a pop of blue land, so it's really kind of funny to me to picture this group of people brainstorming ideas like, oh, what should we do for April Fool's Day? Oh, I think a whole blue palette. That's hysterical. People will think it's crazy. Like the fact that that's where they thought their customer base was, and then it's the complete mirror opposite is kind of funny for me to think about. And so I know that Tarte has been getting a lot of, maybe not a lot, but I know they've gotten flack, people thinking that they're copying Jeffree Star. The difference between when these palettes launched was weeks. It doesn't take that short of time to come up with and produce a palette and have it come into fruition. So really, I mean, the story could be the opposite, right? Because Tarte talked about this icy betch, which I can't stand the name, and that I get the name being an April Fool's joke, but Tarte talked about this April Fool's joke, this blue palette last year, so it could be the opposite. Maybe Jeffree Star saw that they were doing that and said, well, you know what, I'm gonna do it. You don't know, so there's no reason to have this like, yeah, well, he started it first or whatever. It doesn't matter. Back to the Tarte palette though, it does not look anything. It doesn't look anything like the palette that they showed originally on the April Fool's Day thing. Originally, they showed this Tartelette style palette. This one is completely different. It really makes no sense. This palette is it's 9 eyeshadows, and they are all blue tones, and then this gigantic plain white highlighter. I'm not even sure what it's supposed to be, but it's ginormous. It just is really, like, they didn't get the point, or they didn't understand why people liked it. It's just interesting because I had a lot of you guys thinking that I would be so into the Jeffree Star palette, or I would be so into this trend of blues. And I will say I love that this thing that was originally, I mean, for the longest time when you thought of blue eyeshadow, you thought of Mimi from the Drew Carey Show. That was like the iconic, what you thought of with blue eyeshadow. Over the top, overdone craziness. And the fact that now we're in a time where a blue eyeshadow palette is completely acceptable and celebrated is really cool. However, I don't know, I have so many blue eyeshadows as it is, and I'm just at a point where I cannot get myself to be super excited about these things that I already have. I want to see new. And while yes, a lot of people I'm sure are very excited about something totally different, and it's not the neutral with a pop of blue. I can totally understand that, and I can definitely get on board with it, but it never was something where I was like, oh my god, I need to buy this, because I don't know. On that same note though, I do want to also mention from Menagerie Cosmetics, which I've never heard of them, but I noticed when I was going around to all the Instagrams that are the beauty Instagrams that show all of the different stuff that's coming out, there's a lot of brands that I haven't heard of. Indie brands are on the up, and it's awesome. This is the Whale Song palette, and it's another one that is all blue shades. There's actually some in here that look super. There's this one, the one that's called Fluke. That's the one that I know I own it already, but that's like my kryptonite shade. Oh, also this Whale Song color. Yes. Wait a minute. Also the shade next to it. Hi, I can't pronounce anything to save my life. I will say I do appreciate that the swatches that they show are actual arm swatches. They're not like weird stenciled stuff, because you guys know that's just not my jam. Moving on, I'm sure there was even more blue eyeshadow palettes, but those were the 3 that really originally caught my eye. The other thing is that the Game of Thrones collection was announced. You saw the palettes, you saw all the stuff. I have a whole review on that collection, my thoughts on everything. Of course, I'm going into this looking at it from a super fan point of view. I mean, I know there's been a lot of reviews out there that are looking at the colors for the colors, and that's completely fine. I'm looking at it from a huge Game of Thrones fan standpoint. So if you're a big Game of Thrones fan and you've been kind of wondering what a Game of Thrones fan would think of the collection, check out that. I will link it somewhere, I don't know. It was the last video that went up. Ooh, another thing that I wanted to talk about was this new collection from Melt Cosmetics. So this is their Shape Shift collection, and it's kind of really cool because it's the duochrome stack. They're all darker colors. We saw last year, maybe the year before, a big trend with light duochromes, kind of like what I have on right now, where it's a white color with that shift of color. And Melt Cosmetics is coming in from the back end here with a black base with the shift of color, which I think is really cool. I really like the way that these look, and I'm totally into it, but the Melt Cosmetics packaging immediately turns me off. The way that their eyeshadows are is that they are magnetic, and so they stack into like a little stack that looks like a little stack of poker chips, and it's cool in theory, but when you have them all stacked, every stack looks the same. There's no telltale signs to figure out what color is what. And I know this is a first world problems thing, I get it. Most of the time makeup names tell me nothing. Absolutely nothing about what color is inside. So if there's nothing on there, if the sticker isn't giving me like an idea of what color is inside, I can't. So Melt, as much as I want to try that packaging, I don't love the packaging on them. And so for those reasons, I'm out. Another thing I saw the Balm, which I haven't used in so long. They're so cute. Their packaging's so cute. They have this collection that is called Auto Balm, which I think is adorable. And then all the palettes look like little license plates. If there's one thing like you gotta say about the Balm, it's that they know how to do some cute ass packaging. It's clever, and I can appreciate when the thought goes into it like that and just the cleverness. I love that. I would check them out because the packaging is adorable. It looks like it's also metal packaging, which is appropriate for the theme being license plates, and I like metal packaging anyways. It looks like it's nice and sleek. It's not a bunch of bulky packaging, and it's adorable. I'm into it. I'm into it. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about today. Oh my god. Okay, 2 more things. I lied. The first goes back to what I was talking about with the Melt Cosmetics Shape Shift palette. Black Moon Cosmetics has this new palette coming out that is in that same kind of dark duochrome vibe. These are the loudest buttons ever, so I'm sorry that I keep hitting them. They're like obnoxiously loud. This is called the Black Metal Volume 1 palette. This looks really cool. I could get on board with this a lot more than I can with the Shape Shift palette from Melt Cosmetics, and I hope that's what it's called. When I hear Shapeshift, what do I think? True Blood. Shapeshifter. Is that True Blood? I think that's True Blood. Honestly, this black metal palette is something I could totally get on board with. I think that it's super cool. It comes with this bright violet light duochrome, and then it's got all of these black shifting to a bright color. It's just really cool, and it's like a darker version of what I live my life by, which is, you know, I can't do a look without some kind of white duochrome. It's just not possible anymore. This I completely am into. I honestly don't own anything from Black Moon Cosmetics, and I would consider this very much so. I think that it looks really cool. I need to see like some looks with it, not just some, ooh, wait, never mind. Look, ooh, I gotta show you guys this too. They do have some looks. I'm about it. Okay, these actually look really cool. Really cool. I don't want to buy anything. Next month is when Sephora has their 15% off. There's some like needs I have on there. I don't want to buy anything I don't need, but this is cool. And this is what I'm talking about when it comes to stuff I don't have. I have a lot of white-based duochromes. I do not have a lot of dark-based duochromes. And I know I could do like a black base and layer my white shift duochromes, but I get excited when I see stuff that I don't have, and this is something I don't have. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is from Pat Mcgrath, and so when Pat Mcgrath first launched her lipsticks with the glitter and the crazy packaging, I went crazy. I bought so much of her stuff. It is so expensive, and I never touched it because I accepted that my life is basically, I don't like lip stuff. I put on like a light lip gloss and that's it. I don't want to put effort into my lips, so that kind of went unused and sort of a waste of money. And then I tried her highlighters and stuff. Again, I'm like immediate buyer's remorse. But I just saw these swatches of these new single eyeshadows that she's coming out with called Idols, which I love. I love a pun. It's a good one. Play on words. Oh my gosh, they're beautiful. These swatches look nuts. They have some matte ones. They have some ultra shimmery metallic gold foil looking amazingness. Oh, it's one of those things where I'm looking at them and I'm like, no, but yes, but no. I'm looking at the #idols to try and find some stuff, and even just looking at some of the pictures here and seeing what they look like, oh my god, they look so cool. They honestly look so good. How much are they? $1 million? Probably $1 million. At least $1 million. I want to know how much they cost. They are $25 each. That's actually, I mean, that's crazy expensive for one eyeshadow, but I can't say I'm surprised or shocked. It's actually less than what I would expect. I mean, I paid a lot for, you know, single eye colors and stuff like that. So I can't justify anymore. I can't justify $25 on one color. It has to be something that I know that I can use all the time. That being said, I'm never going into Sephora again because if I swatch those, it's going to be a real bad time for my wallet. Okay, and then last but definitely not least, I did want to talk about a new collection that Engli came out with. Engli, I talked about in my 10 brands that aren't popular on social media or not talked about on YouTube. I think that's what I called it. Engli's always been one of my favorite eyeshadow brands ever. I use their colors all the time. I just have like a bunch of their palettes that just get displayed, and I know that I'm going to have a color that will work. What I love that they just did, they collaborated with a micro-influencer named Sid Marie. She's amazing. She's 14 years old. She's amazing. And they came out with this cherry blossom collection that is so beautiful. Sid Marie actually contacted me and got the palette sent. She signed it in this cutie rose gold marker. So I just wanted to talk about it because I think it is so freaking cool that Engli is going in the 180 direction of a lot of these big brands where they are collaborating with the same people over and over and over. I mean, we've seen a lot of collections that have been showcasing those same people, right? And so it's really cool to see Engli go, no, I'm going to go in the opposite direction and go with somebody who is talented and who is growing and has a very loyal, even if it's smaller, but a loyal fan base. I think that is just, it's super inspiring to me, and I think that it's something that I wish more brands would do, because why are we shining the spotlight only on people who already have 200 spotlights on them? Do you know what I mean? Why not look at this person's really talented? Let's share the love. So this collection includes a palette that has a blush and 3 eyeshadows. Again, Engli colors, everything is super phenomenal. But the best part about this, I'm going to tell you, is a product from Engli that I had never used before, and now I need every single one. It's the Engli Intense Sparkler, right? So it looks like this. It's domed. It reminds me of the MAC mineralized colors and stuff. But this particular one is a white, and it has this green sparkle. So it's got a green duochrome in it. What's cool about this though is that there's like this amazing glitteriness to it. So it's not just like a regular shimmer where it just will show up. I'm actually gonna put this on my face right now because I already have a green highlight going on. And then you can kind of see what I'm talking about, where it's almost like these little, look at that. Oh, I don't want, okay. I can't stand when people do those the videos on Instagram where they're just like, oh, like they freak out about a highlighter, but that's pretty, that's speaking for itself. My new favorite thing. Gosh, okay, hair, come on. And moral of the story is that I now need these in every single color because I could see myself using these, this Intense Sparkler. I could see myself literally using that every time I do a look. I have a couple of duochrome palettes that I use for a highlight every time I do my makeup. This totally outshines them. I've been using some Anastasia ones, the Aurora one of the glow kits. I can't remember what it's called. It's buried and I don't feel like moving things. This is more intense, and the way that I like it so much more. Oh my gosh. Okay, so that is possibly my new favorite thing. I'm really excited that I was sent that because I would not have known. I don't have an Engli anywhere near me. There's only a couple of stores in the US. The closest one to me is in Las Vegas. And so my way of getting any Engli is through their website. I would not have known just by looking at this that it was gonna have this crazy, like, sparkly amazingness. I don't even have words. I'm so pumped about this. Basically, I need it. So that's all I want to talk about for Good, Bad, Boring. I also wanted to note, I know a lot of you guys have looked at my Amazon store and have shopped from it. I greatly appreciate it. You have no idea. I just wanted to let you guys know I added a ton more stuff on there. I added a whole bunch more stuff for the kids section, a lot of stuff that Violet uses, a lot of games I added on there that we play. I'm a huge board game fanatic, a huge video game fanatic. Where's this East Coastness coming from today? So I added a lot more kitchen stuff. So basically, if you trust my judgment, if you like my vibe, I promise you're gonna find some cool stuff on my Amazon store. Promise. Link below. Other than that, my name's Leesha. I am okay, apparently. All right, I'll see you guys later.